Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with veteran New York jazz improviser, pianist, and composer Russ Lossing. He's a passionate musician that opened up about his life as a jazz musician in his new 2021 CD, Metamorphism. He's originally from Ohio, but he's been part of the New York jazz scene since 1986. He played with legendary drummer Paul Motian for 12 years and has composed over 400 works, and he is an in-demand cat and a world-class jazz pianist and composer. He has over 18 CDs as a leader and is featured on 50 others as a sideman and collaborator with world-class musicians. Enjoy this wonderful story.
Cool. Hey, well, thanks for taking a minute out. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
So, yeah, you bet. So talk to me about your newest album. It's coming out during a pandemic, Metamorphism. And I just want to know, not like when you made the album, but like right now that it's coming out during this kind of time of a pandemic, what are your thoughts on the timing of this?
Oh, that's a good question. That's just the way it happened. I sent it to Francois Zelicane, who's the chief over at Sunnyside, a great record label here in New York. I sent it to him in, I guess it was April or May of 2020, right in the middle of the thing, you know. I thought, what the heck, you know, I mean, we can't work, right? And we're not doing anything, and I had it, and it was all ready. And he said, yeah, let's do it. He loved it. I mean, you know, all I can say is, all I can really do is release records.
Yeah.
Right now, we're not working, right? I mean, my last gig was on March 9th, 2020. Which is kind of shocking, right? Well, everybody else is in the same boat. I'm not unique. So I'm just trying to release records and keep busy practicing and writing a lot, and I'm recording at home, solo piano, and just trying to keep busy and keep the spirits up and hope that everything goes back to normal at some point. But you know, it's people really like that record, Metamorphism. It's got 8 originals on it. You know, I recorded it about 3 years ago, and it takes a while to get these things out, and you know, it takes a while to figure out what they are, and then mix them and edit, put them all together, and everything. You know, I've been playing with those guys for a long time. Mike Serene, I've been playing with him for 30 years, and John Hebert on bass, I've been playing with him since he moved to New York. And Lawrence Stillman, I've been playing with him since he was 14 years old, which is shocking. And he's nearly 40 now.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you know, what can we do? We just have to do what we got to do during these times, you know, keep going, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah,
I do.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to the beginnings of your life. Talk to me about where you were born and raised and how music became a part of your life.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. You know, music was just what was going to be the main thing in my life just from the beginning, really. When I was 5, I started classical piano lessons. And when I was 10, I sort of became aware that there was this thing called improvisation. And so I started improvising, and I just sort of naturally an improviser. And my classical piano teacher at the time was also knew that I was an improviser because I would fake my way through all these classical pieces. So anyway, long story short, I started improvising when I was around 10 or 11, like that, and I started writing music. And then when I was 13, I went to a jazz piano teacher. I started to learn how to play jazz, which was always a thing that was really I was interested in because of the rhythm, mostly the rhythmic concept. And it was a parallel life of mine. I was practicing classical music and jazz, and then I went on the road when I was 18 for about 4 years, playing a lot of different kinds of music, from funk, jazz, rock, and everything else, blues. And then after that, I went to Ohio State University and got a bachelor's degree in classical piano performance. And then I moved to New York right after that and got a master's degree at Manhattan School of Music and Jazz. And so that was around 1985, 86. I moved to New York, and I've been here ever since, just on the scene. That's, in a nutshell, that's that's it.
So what was the first live jazz show you ever saw that really made you think that's what you want to do?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's I've never been asked that one. Oh, wow. I don't think I have an answer for that. You know, back in Columbus, a lot of people came through, so I saw Frank Zappa, and that kind of blew my mind when I was 16. And the George Duke Band and all these guys came through, and I'm sure, I saw so many, and I drove up to Cleveland and saw tons of concerts up there of Herbie and Chick and all those guys. And, I don't know about the first one, and I have no idea, actually.
Well, that covers it for sure.
Yeah.
As a professional musician, what do you look forward to the most every day you wake up? What's the best thing about being a professional musician?
It's almost like, I've been practicing for so long, and it's just, it's the thing that every day of my life, when I get up, I get a cup of coffee and I come and I sit down at the piano and start improvising or practicing and get into writing, and it's just the whole thing. Just that's the thing that I love the most. The thing that I love the most is playing with other people, though. Of course, you could play alone forever, but improvising with other great improvisers is the thing that really is the main focus in my life. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that for a year. Hopefully, things will change. But, yeah, that's what I like best about music, just doing it.
What kind of shock was it to go, we're in the Midwest, obviously. What kind of a shock was it to go from, Ohio to New York, and how did that transition work for you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, of course. Of course, Columbus is a big city, by the way, and so, of course, there's nothing like New York. So, yes, it was an amazing thing, really. I can't even begin to tell you how difficult it was. So when you're in your 20s, though, everything is going to be okay, if you know what I mean. You just sort of roll with everything, So, it was incredibly difficult, We moved there, I moved there with my wife, and we moved from a 3-bedroom duplex that was $250 a month to a 1-bedroom hole in the wall with roaches and mice for how much was it? $800 a month. That's just and it's extremely difficult. But real exciting too. You know what I mean? It was an amazing thing, and I'd say back then there were a lot more venues in New York City playing jazz, and so I got into playing many nights out of the week, probably 4 to 5 nights a week I was playing back then, and really, compared to now, that's a low rent. You can't find anything even close to that now. So, it was the good and the bad, and the ugly. What can I say? It was, it was super exciting, and when I wasn't playing, we were going out to hear music constantly. Almost every night we were going to a concert. It could have been the symphony, the opera, or all the jazz clubs. We were just hitting everything. I spent so many nights at Bradley's, which was a little, I don't know if you've heard of that, but back in the day, famous little teeny tiny hole in the ground in Greenwich Village, where all these great piano players like Tommy Flanagan and Hank Jones and everybody used to play all the time till 3 o'clock in the morning, man. And those guys, at 2 a.m., those guys came alive and started to play some of the best shit I've ever heard. So, we used to hang out there, for instance.
Right.
And so that's the story. It's just a whirlwind, back then.
Sure.
Yeah.
So why do you love jazz?
That's an interesting question. Well, like I said, I'm an improviser. I just was born with the ability to improvise, and so jazz is improvisation, right? There's many languages in jazz. We can talk about that forever. I mean, it's evolved, and there's all these different languages from different time periods. So there's no one particular language that is jazz. There's different types of jazz languages, but it's all improvised. So, and different types of improvisation. Some are based on song forms, and some aren't, and there's everything in between. So the whole thing is improvisation, and that's the thing that interests me about jazz, and also the rhythmic aspect of it. Those two things.
Beautiful. So my final question to you is this. Everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fans, but you're living your life. Who do you think you are?
That's a good question. Hey, man, I've had a whole year to think about that. You know what I'm saying? I've been sitting in my house here for a year thinking about stuff like that. And you know what? I have no idea.
Yeah, I bet.
Sorry, I have no answers for that one. I mean, I'm just trying to get through day by day here with me and my piano, and but we're going to be okay. We're all going to hang in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, thank you for taking some time out today to talk about the music and the new album. Good luck with everything. Good luck with the return to the stage, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me on your show, man.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats in Ohio, New York, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Russ for his time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.